Well, we've come to that time of the year again where everybody wants to come out and play. So make sure you keep your wood piles clean and keep your brush and everything else cleaned up and your areas cleaned out. Or you'll find beautiful specimens like this guy. This is the common rattlesnake, and got him with a clean shot. So we're gonna dress him out, get him all ready for preserving and eating. Now, when I dress out a snake, I do it one of two ways. I can pull them off like a sock, and then I'll split them up later. But this one I'm going to split down the center, and the goal here is get underneath the skin, not get underneath the meat. So if you can see, I can get my finger. I'm starting at where the head used to be. So we're starting at the top. You can give it a little pinch. You pull that skin back. You can see how that skin flap opens. So the simple way is just run a pair of scissors right down the middle, using the center line as a guide. And I give a little cupping action to keep the skin up, and I just lift up my scissors like that. Just a little straight cut right down. Keep them up and out of the dirt, make them a little easier to clean out. Just a little split, cut, cut, cut. Lift him up, slide down a little further, cut, cut. And all I'm doing is I'm making sure I'm getting even of the center scales on both sides. That way I'm not cutting off to one side of the center scales or another. And as I go down, I'm kind of forcing my scissors upwards towards his belly. That way I make sure I'm not cutting the gut sac, and I'm just getting right along the skin. You can do this with a knife, but with a knife you might have a tendency to cut down into the innards. They make it a lot harder to clean the snake out. And this method works pretty much for all snakes, whether it's a rattlesnake, whether it's a king snake, whether it's a, which you shouldn't kill king snakes, but you know, whether it's a copperhead. But it's gonna be a hot one this year, so probably gonna be a lot of snakes running around. This is just the first rattlesnake of the season that I've found. And we just split them and run them. Everybody has different preservation methods for how they preserve their snakes. This one's about 4 feet long. Chickens can't wait to get a hold of this sucker. Beauty of snakes is they clean up just like a fish does. They're about as good at eating as anything else. Take them over a frog any day. If you were out in a survival situation, this would be an incredible meal. Here, it's a nice snack. Now, we get down here right before the sex organs, you're gonna see a difference in the skin. So there's gonna be a break in the plates. So you can see that break in the plates. That's not a cut, that's a break where the sex organs are. We wanna stop cutting right about there. So once we get down here, we're gonna go out to that point, and we're gonna stop cutting right there because there's a gland in there we don't wanna cut open. It'll make everything smell all funky. Now you can see that gland right about there, right before those sex organs. Now we're gonna put the snake back down. We're gonna go back up here to the top. And we're gonna peel right along the skin, all around on both sides, to peel him off and away from the skin to where we can get a good grip on the skin from the back side. Just like this. So now you can see the skin and the snake. All we gotta do is pull. And that snake's gonna come off that skin just like a sock. Just like that. Get down here to this last little fleshy part. We're just going to go ahead and pull. Keep pulling it back all the way to there, right where we find the rattle. And then we're just going to cut it right at the end of the rattle. Now that we're going to do with a knife. So we get that little part there. We get that last little bit of flesh. We can feel the rattle on the inside. We're going to go right where that flesh is. We're just going to pull that rattle right off. Just like that. Now, this part of the snake, just after, notice where I said that gland is. We're going to take care of that in a second. Now we go back up to the top of the head. What we're looking for here is we're looking for the esophagus. So you'll see it, it'll have these little veins going back and forth, little cartilage. Get away from my knife. Have little veins going back and forth. And you can tell what an esophagus looks like. It looks like a throat. So we peel along the inside of the snake. We grab that, hey, back off. We grab that esophagus, pull that out and away from the skin, from the snake. We just pull on down. Just grab that esophagus and you just keep pulling. Now this is cool because it's going to come out just like a fish guts. And there you go. Now, them guts are going to stop right where that sex organ was. Where it stops there, that's where we're going to cut it again. So we're going to lay it down. Get away, Henry. Yeah. We're going to lay it down there. We're going to cut that loose. So now we ain't got that musk gland fucking up the meat. The rest, we just throw that on off the chickens. They'll take care of that. We'll preserve the skin, chop up the meat and eat it. That's life on a homestead. Stay safe. Don't die.